In between Section 81 and Section 82, there is a fairly significant event that takes place that is not mentioned specifically in the Doctrine and Covenants. The date is March 24th, 1832. We're in Hiram, Ohio, at the John Johnson farm. Joseph and Emma are living in the parlor. It's just inside the front door and to the left. It's the nicest room in the house. There's a bed with a little trundle bed that goes underneath it for the children. They have twins that the Murdoch's twins, Sister Murdoch had passed away shortly after childbirth or at childbirth with these two twins, at roughly the same time that Emma and Joseph had lost their twins right after their birth. So they've now adopted Julia and Joseph Smith Murdoch, is what they've named the boy, these two twins, the Murdoch twins. They have, it seems, the measles at the time, and on that night, there's a knock on the window. They ignore it. So Emma has Julia in the bigger bed, and it seems that Joseph is with the little boy, the little baby boy, Joseph Smith Murdoch, and he's sleeping there when all of a sudden the front door is broken open, and a crowd of men, drunk on liquor, come in and grab Joseph by the hair, by the arms, and they start dragging him. Apparently, he's able to get a foot loose and kicks one of them with some pretty serious force, knocking him over. And they subdue him and get him out. And it's cold outside in Ohio in March of 1832. And they drag him out, and he sees Sidney Rigdon laying on the ground, who had been dragged out of the log cabin across the street from the John Johnson home. They've dragged Sidney out by his feet, banging his head on the steps as he comes down, and then hooking him up to a rope and actually dragging him a distance behind a horse with his head banging on the ground. Brothers and sisters, some interesting things are going to happen in the life of Sidney Rigdon from this date moving forward. He's going to do some things and say some things down the road, especially 12 years down the road after the death of the prophet. And there are some who would say, who would surmise that it seems that Sidney's a little different after this experience. And once again, it's a high thing to act as a judge of people. I don't know, but the possibilities there that he's sustained some pretty serious injuries through this traumatic event that have messed with his mind and the way he's able to just live his life moving forward. And so I would say we should tap the brakes before we pass final, ultimate, condemning judgment on Sidney or any of these other people, because we really don't have all the details.
We also just look at what the mob did to Joseph and Sidney. They ripped off their clothes, they scratched them, and then they take these ripped up bodies and pour tar in. None of you guys have ever touched tar that just gets stuck on your fingers, and when it's hot, and it can be very painful to get inside your open wounds. So this is a very terrible way to be tortured.
And then they dump feathers on him. In fact, there's one person there who has a bottle of poison. They intend to poison Joseph. So he tries to get Joseph to open his mouth, but Joseph keeps his jaw clenched and refuses to open his mouth. And so this individual hits Joseph in the mouth with the bottle, and it chips one of Joseph's front teeth. From that point on, Joseph is going to have a slight whistle on his S's when he's speaking because of that little chipped tooth. They leave him and Sidney there to basically die. So once Joseph Smith makes his way back into the home of John Johnson, in his own words, here's what he says. My friends spent the night in scraping and removing the tar, and washing and cleansing my body, so that by morning I was ready to be clothed again. This being Sabbath morning, the people assembled for meeting at the usual hour of worship, and among them came also the mobbers. With my flesh all scarified and defaced, I preached to the congregation as usual, and in the afternoon of the same day baptized 3 individuals. Must be really frustrating for the devils down in hell to fight against the work and think, okay, we got him this time. On the next day, he gets up and preaches, and 3 individuals got baptized.